Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Friday. Today is January 10th. And today I want to talk about the Fed December minutes that were released a couple days ago. Actually released on Wednesday. I just haven't had time to get to them yet. But basically what we're seeing here is it shows that Federal Reserve officials are actually now worried about inflation in general, the fact that it's a little stickier than they expected. And they're also worried, they're starting to talk about in their minutes, that they're worried about the inflation impacts from Trump's policies, incoming policies. The idea was Wall Street had bet that the Fed would lower rates 4 times this year. Now, most folks and observers, and including the Fed, say it looks more likely that it's going to be 2 times, if at all. So basically, the Fed's moving from an easing posture to more of a neutral posture, which isn't as important as it would have been a year ago, because right now the bond market is ignoring the Fed. And anything above 10 years, 20 years, 30 years seems to have diverged from the Fed. So the bond yields now, Fed lowers rates, bond yields still go up. It doesn't really matter. And the reason yields are going up, it's a couple of reasons. We've talked about them a lot here. And this also ties into what the Federal Reserve's minutes say. First of all, it's the massive spending. They believe the incoming Trump administration is going to blow out spend based on the policies that he's talked about, that he's circulating, et cetera. The second thing is they're concerned about a change in immigration policy. Remember something, if you do mass deportations, who builds houses? There's South Americans who do it for a lot less money than most Americans would do it. Who mows lawns? Who works in restaurants, et cetera? It's like this whole hidden economy of immigrants, many illegal, I get it, but they keep the price of a house lower because they're making $13, $15 an hour instead of $25 an hour that American might want to make there. So that will be inflationary. That'll cause housing prices to go up. It'll cause restaurant food prices to go up. So many immigrants are tied into our supply chain and our construction process that it's almost boggles the mind. I think that's one of the reasons Trump has been walking back his immigration deportation talk recently. He's now been saying, instead of mass deportations of all illegal immigrants, he's now been saying mass deportations of criminals, illegal immigrants or criminals, which obviously makes sense. Who on earth could argue with that? The Fed is talking about that they're worried about this. If he does mass deportations of illegal immigrants, and you see basically who's going to build houses, all those kinds of things. The second thing that they talk about worried about is the tariffs. Remember, if you spend $500 to buy a couch that was imported from China, if that couch now costs $550, you're going to get less bang for your buck. Your money's not going to go as far, and that is also inflationary. Mass deportations, tariffs, and of course, spending. This is a cocktail for inflation. It's just the bottom line. That's why we see yields going higher. That's why they're smart by saying we're not going to, they know they have no control over the long end of the bond market anymore. Let's be honest. It's comical to even think that they do. They're saying now we're neutral. We're not going to be doing anything. We expect more inflation coming in 2025 if these policies get enacted, the policies that Trump is talking about, and the Republican Congress. Basically, the Republicans control both houses of Congress and the presidency, basically. Do you remember when there was a time when Republicans actually believed in no spending, cutting government? That's a funny thing. Those were the good old days. Now the only difference between Republicans and Democrats is basically what they spend money on. But they both spend money like drunken sailors. Let us be honest here. We're investors. We can't afford to have magical thinking and be blinded by party affiliation when it comes to fiscal issues. This is what it is. This is why the long yield is going higher. And it's also claimed its first victim, a company that's walking out of the mortgage business, which I'll talk about tomorrow. Anyway, have a great day.